What is up, guys, and welcome back to our Make the EU Great Again Fantasy Draft Franchise Mode series. Unfortunately, I just finished recording the episode for this series like 3 minutes ago, and when I went back to look at the file, for some reason the video did not record, so all you can tell is just the game audio and then me talking over it. So I could have thrown that into a video, and then I don't know what the actual video part of it would have been, but I decided against that. I'm just gonna recap what happened in the draft in the off season. Really unfortunate that 2 out of the 5 episodes of this series have had technical difficulties, but I hope you guys don't mind too much. So what we did, we had the 18th overall pick, and we actually traded it away, and we traded up. Let's see if it's still there. Okay, it's not. So what we did was we traded the 18th overall pick as well as a couple of lower tier prospects we have on our team. We traded that for the 8th overall pick in the NHL draft. Oh man, that burp caught me mid-word. Excuse me, holy shit. We traded that for the 8th overall pick in the draft, and we got, drumroll please, oh shit, Timothy. Oh, he's not even on this list. I didn't sign him. We got Timothy Lonergan. We got Timothy Lonergan with the 8th overall pick. And yeah, shit. That was funny. Fuck me, man. I thought he was gonna be there. Got it unsigned. Holy shit. So we got Timothy Lonergan with the 8th overall pick. We traded up for him. He's a 68 overall, age 18, medium elite, right-handed, two-way defender. And there are a look at his stats. And so we also drafted Sami Moilanen from Finland with our 3rd round pick. He is a high AHL top 6 potential guy. Only 54 overall, so he has a long way to go. We also got Tommy Hedberg with our 4th round pick, a left-handed two-way defender out of Sweden. Played in the CHL, and that's where he is now. And then we also drafted 2 goaltenders in Daniel Marmanland in the 7th from Sweden, and Mikael Rinberg in the 2nd round from Sweden. So both of those guys are still unsigned. I didn't sign anyone that we drafted, so all 5 of those guys are still there. And then in free agency, and that was the only trade I made, was trading up to get the 8th overall pick. So in free agency, we signed a couple of guys, and the first one, Thomas Vanek. So he's going to be our first line left winger, replacing Nino Niederreiter on that top line left wing, and Niederreiter can go down to the 2nd line. Pretty good offensive stats. I signed him to a 2-year, $7 million contract. We had, after the re-sign phase, where we re-signed quite a few players, we still had $20 million left, so I was fine with spending 7 of that on Vanek. He wanted 3 years, like $5 million something, but at age 33, I don't want to sign a guy to a 3-year contract because that 3rd year, when he's age 36, he will have regressed a lot and will probably be retiring at the end of the season, maybe like an 82 overall, and we don't want to spend too much money on a guy like that. We also signed Dennis Seidenberg. He's going to round out our top 4 on defense. He is from Germany, so he qualifies. We signed him 2 years, almost $5 million. So that 2nd year of that deal, if he doesn't retire this year, might hurt us a little bit. But we really needed the help there in that 2nd pairing because we didn't have anyone else to fill that role. And we also traded away our backup and our AHL starting goaltender from last season, as well as Jakob Kindl, for a 2nd round pick because in free agency we found both Carleto, who was undrafted this season, so he fell to free agency, medium backup, 78 overall already at age 20, so he's only going to need a couple of overall points of growth to crack the NHL squad. And on the main roster, Jonas Enroth out of Sweden. He's going to be our backup for the next couple of seasons in the NHL. So we signed those 2 guys, and after we did that, we had to send a couple of guys packing to make room for all 4 of our guys to start and get ice time instead of being scratched. So those are only moves we made in free agency. Did not make any trades other than the ones that I just said. And looking at some of our player progression, that's what I need to do as well. Let's go over here and then go manage rosters and then go to roster moves. Nothing too crazy in terms of player progression. For the forwards, this is what our roster is going to look like. So Vanek did not regress. We signed him as an 87, and he did not regress any in the offseason, which is good. Niederreiter did not gain any, which is unfortunate. Puljujärvi and Aho and Fiala are up to 83s. And then that's it for the NHL guys. Just got these veterans here in the bottom lines. And then in the system, Nylander and Kapanen are up to 81s. Eriksson and Rodin are up to 80s. Heinz is a 78. So looking at some of these guys' offensive stats, Nylander has insane offensive stats. And I am guaranteeing that he will win the Calder Trophy the year we put him in the NHL, which is probably going to be next season. I might even throw him up on like the first line or something to try to hide his defensive abilities a little bit and try to get guys like Draisaitl going in terms of scoring. But then that would require moving like Line A down to the second. So we might put Line A on the left wing so he can be on his offhand as a sniper. And then Nylander setting him up all day. That would be a pretty scary sight for other teams. And then another guy that had some crazy stats, Eriksson to a lesser extent from Nylander. The thing about Eriksson though is he has the 86 defensive awareness, right? 85 offensive awareness, 87 passing. So he's going to be a pretty good playmaker that can also make some defensive plays for us. Just need him to increase that overall a little bit and have his role jump up to third scoring line before we throw him in the NHL. And then Rupe Heinz with a high 80 offensive stats. The only bad thing about him is his the defensive awareness at 77 and just the 2-star defensive awareness category as a whole. So that's what it looks like for our forwards. And then defensively, Polka saw a couple of overall points of growth in this offseason. It's up to an 85, and we signed Seidenberg at an 85 overall. He regressed 1 point in the offseason. That's unfortunate, but Jolliffe and Larson jumped up a couple points each, so they will be on the NHL squad. And then Louvre jumped up a couple, and I'm not sure about Anderson and Zaboral, but I'm sure they saw some growth as well. So I'm sorry for the short video. The other video I made was like 50 minutes long, and it was me doing the draft and going through each round and reading off all the guys' names and fucking up a couple of times just for the hell of it, and describing to you guys how I knew who was Swedish and who was Finnish and who qualified for us and who didn't. So that I'm going to lose a little bit of the entertaining factor there. But so this is kind of just an update. Really wish that I did not have the technical difficulties. But it's whatever. Shit happens, you know. I could go back and redo the draft and free agency, but I feel like it turned out well for us, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. But if you guys enjoyed this video, which you probably did not, because I did not enjoy making it, leave a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. Go check out some of our other series here on the channel. And yeah, so I'll see you guys next time.